Whether we like it or not, we're living in a spiritual battleground where our world is full of so many different spirit attacks and deceits and misguidings that are constantly coming at us, truly all of the time. And a lot of people don't know about this, or they do, but their knowledge on the matter isn't entirely accurate. And so this leads to constant problems from these attacks, which we're going to be discussing in this video. I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about what this actually even is. And to first get started, I'd like to first mention that for people that do not believe that there are spirits or, other energies that are coming at us in our lives, to attack our walk with God, our walk with the truth, could also say your walk to be who it is that you were sent here by God to be in this world. You see, so we have a lot of different energies and spirits that will try to push us off of that path. And we have lots of other energies that will reach out a hand, and it won't be a push, but it will be a misguiding. We'll be offered things that we want to get them quicker. So there's a lot of attacks like this. For example, if you're living in a space where you are being constantly under attack by some spirits, which, by the way, I want to let you know that for people who are experiencing the kind of attacks that we're talking about in this conversation, I want to let you know it's not because you're stupid or dumb or weak that they're coming at you. They're coming at you because you're important to God. You're important to the truth, to the light that you were sent here to be. And I know that if you are seeing this conversation, you're part of it, then I know that I can't tell you what your exact purpose in this life is, but I'm nearly certain that at least a small aspect of it is to activate the light in yourself and in others, and to spread that light, to spread that awareness of truth. And the spirits who are against this, which we are constantly being bombarded by in our lives, they don't want you to know the truth. They don't want you to be walking the righteous path. It would be much easier for them if you weren't. Because the second you do align with who you really are and your true path, you become an unstoppable power where these forces could never win against you. So for now, if you're under attack, understand it must be because you have some sort of special gift that you're sent here from God with, or that your part in this is important. Because if you weren't important, and if you were not significant, to God or to the light or to the battle that's really taking place in this reality most people don't want to talk about, then why would, demons and entities and spirits be constantly bombarding you and trying to misguide you? Right? If you were really a worthless part of the plan, then why waste any time or energy on deceiving you at all? So, moving forwards, sometimes these attacks manifest in some really subtle ways. Like, for example, this is something that I've noticed, that I can be in a very clear, having very pureness in my field, living very righteously, living very truthfully, in a lot of peace and willingness to be who it is that I came here to be, no matter what. So we're in this vibe, right? And then I could enter into a house that is somebody else's home, or maybe there's like a lot of people gathered there. And the way that they're living their lives, they are shaking hands with certain spirits and entities without realizing it. They're inviting them in. When they collaborate with these spirits, and most people don't realize what they're doing, they invite these spirits and these energies in, and the home becomes a home that, these demons, for example, are actually, they legally have a right to be there because the people living in this home invite them in. They invite them in. So I could go into this home, for example, and be like a totally sober and clear and righteous person, and have been in other homes where there's no problem, but you walk into this home and there's this weird cloudy energy in there. And it's like you don't know what it is, but for some reason, all of a sudden, you don't feel like doing anything except sleeping, watching TV. All of a sudden, you have this weird cloud of this energy that's like just creating this weird desire in you to drink, like just to start drinking alcohol, or, doing certain things like this, or now you all of a sudden are like, hey, like, I don't watch porn or anything like this, but all of a sudden I just have this like weird compulsion to. You see, there's these energies, there's these spirits in this house that these people that are living there are constantly engaging with. And so these attacks are continuously happening, right? With the drinking, maybe you don't even drink, you don't even like alcohol. So why is it that all of a sudden this space, this energy present here is starting to manipulate you into this space? Well, it's because of these spirits. Now, second to this, people, whether they are doing it unknowingly or not, are allowing spirits also to speak through them, to say certain things to you, all sorts of things like this. And these people don't always necessarily realize it. But see, as humans, we are vessels. We're vessels. So every single one of us has spirits with us and working through us. And whether you perceive of these energies or you are consciously aware of this or not, there's not a single person that you're going to cross paths with where they do not have spirit working through them. Because we're not just humans. That's not all there is. There's a spiritual dimension to things too, where these spirits, these energies, they use us. They use humans, okay? Now, this might sound kind of negative to you, and you'd be like, what, they use us? Yes, we are literally being used to do the bidding and do the will of other entities and spirits, and most of us are completely unaware of it. We don't even realize. Now, sometimes the way that we invite these spirits in, because they have no legal right to come into you or to come into your life and to live in your home with you or whatever, these spirits cannot come in unless you invite them. That's the only way they can have legal permission to be there. So the second that you cast them out, which you have to acknowledge that they're there, and I'll explain this at the end of the video. Once you cast them out, then they have no legal right to come back unless you invite them back in, which is what happens to most people. So here's some of the ways that we unknowingly are kind of deceived into inviting in spirits. Let's say I'm a person who, this is an example, okay? Let's say I'm a person named Johnny. And as Johnny, I grew up, I always wanted to be somebody important, and I really wanted people to like me, because earlier on in school, my Johnny experience in elementary school was like, I didn't really have many friends. People didn't really hang out or talk to me too much, whatever it is. So I start to form this ego desire in myself to be someone cool, to be someone powerful enough that the girls will like me, that people will like me. And so I decide that I want to become someone important. Well, the moment I make this decision, this ego decision that I want more, right? I want more fame. I want more power. I want more admiration. This immediately begins to invite spirits in. Immediately. Because the second that you start desiring something like this is your first invitation, and you may not realize it consciously, but you invite in all these spirits, which will start sending you feelings, thoughts, excitements, vibrations. All of these ideas begin to flow through you, and you might think that it's you, but really you're engaging with the spirit realm. You see, people don't realize this. So you're literally engaging all these ideas and these feelings of things you could do to be cooler. You might get certain ideas, act a little bit more like a jerk, right? Because, girls will like that. No, but this is just an example, right? I'm not saying that that's a true statement. It's clearly not. So there's these things that begin to happen. We start to have ideas. Basically what's happening on an energetic and spiritual level that most people aren't perceiving of, but doesn't make it not real, is that you begin to be offered by different spirits ideas or things that you could do. Now, the moment you engage with this spirit and you say, yes, I will do that, this is like what one of the terms kind of means when it says we make a deal with the devil. The devil, these demonic spirits, will come to you and offer you what you want and give you ideas and things to do to get it. But in the process, you collaborate with this entity, this spirit, this demonic force. You invite it in and you sell your soul to it, because now your will, your bidding is not your own. It's being constantly influenced, and you're being driven around by a spirit who is now using you to do all sorts of things. Now, maybe this spirit has the ability to, guide you to certain things that spirits in the spirit realm can see. Oh, hey, if you go do this, then that girl will like you, for example, or you could get more money doing that. Okay, so these are some of the quote unquote benefits that we would get from working with these spirits. The problem is that these spirits do not have your best interest at heart. They don't actually want you to get what you want. They want for you to invite them in so that they can take over your life. And when spirits take over your life in this way, it is constant problems and suffering. And sometimes you might get what you wanted, the money or the girl or whatever it was for you that caused you to invite this interaction in. But the issue here is that it will not fulfill you, and you'll feel empty and sick. And you'll wonder, why did getting more fame not fulfill me? Right? We see this happening to actors. So they turn to drugs, or they kill themselves in hotel rooms, or whatever it is. Why did getting the people at my school to like me and the girl to like me, why does something feel off? Why does having more money not equal the satisfaction I thought? Because you're being misled. You won't be filled by those kinds of things. You see, these spirits are here to attack your walk with God, to keep you from the path of righteousness and truth. And the path of righteousness and truth means completely acknowledging that more money or admiration or fame or whatever it is, a bigger house, these things are not going to give you what you're looking for. It's not what you came and manifested and were manifested by God into this physical reality. That's not what you're here for. This is a huge problem in our society. Our society is constantly selling to people and promoting to them, even though they don't realize what's happening, that they should be working with demons. And I want to say something very clearly that I acknowledge a lot of people may think I'm crazy for saying. I'm not too worried about this kind of thing anymore, about what people think. So I'm just going to come right out and say it. Earth, this is Satan's playground. I'm telling you, there is darkness ruling over this place that we're living. It doesn't mean that the earth isn't beautiful. It doesn't mean that there's a lot of love here and incredible things to do and to experience and share with one another. What I am saying is that people are being driven by demonic spirits that are pretending to be our friends. They're pretending to be your friend. They're pretending to have your best interest at heart. Most people don't even realize it's a spirit that is working through them. They think that it's me. They think that their desires and thoughts and what they're driven to do is them. And I'm seeing all around me, that's like 99% of the time not true. These people are unclean. They have invited in spirits which have taken over their life and is driving them to destruction, or is using them to deceive other people and lifting them up higher. So this is one of the methods that these spirits actually do. I see them deceive a lot of people in the New Age and occult and metaphysics. Make no mistake about it, all occult is working with spirits. It doesn't matter what ritual you're doing or affirmation or crystal you've got or any of these things. I'm not trying to shut anybody down, but I was there. I was in the New Age movement too. I did not know. I did not realize. When we're in that, we're playing with spirits. We're playing with entities. We're inviting in demons. We're inviting in attack. We're inviting in all kinds of deceit and messes into our lives. And again, most people are not perceiving of this, but it absolutely is happening. It absolutely is. The world that we're living in is a spiritual battleground. There is a battle happening between light and dark, truth and lies, righteousness and falseness. And the fact of the matter is that people are choosing to play with spirits. They're choosing to play with the darkness. They're choosing to sell their soul to the devil because we're so confused and scared in this world, and we feel like we're just fighting for our place in the sun. We feel like we got to fight to get the house. We got to fight to get the money. We got to fight to stand out in a world with billions of people in it. We got to fight to do something that makes our name live on before we die, right? We got to this, we got to that. I got to walk the red carpet so everybody I went to high school with knows that I'm a success. We have all these silly things going on within us, and we're extremely confused. So make no mistake about it, it is these desires in us that invite spirits in. These spirits that are invited in, you can look at it like this. They vibrationally resonate with your desire. So your desire for more sex or more relationships or more money or more fame or whatever this is, understand that these are very like low vibration things. Okay, now this conversation isn't extremely accurate now that I'm talking about vibration. This is just to help you to understand it in a conceptual way that I hope benefits you. It's not exactly like this. This is just a way of talking about it, okay? These are very low vibration things. And so the spirits that you're inviting in are very low vibration. Now, I don't know anybody that does not have spirits working through them. Even I have spirit working through me. And I want to tell you, actually, I don't think I'm ready to share that. Sorry, in a future video, I may explain a certain thing that happened in my life that woke me up to this path of truth and righteousness. But I don't think I'm extremely fully ready to talk about it yet. So not to lead you on or anything, but I'll mention that later. What I will say is that inviting in the Holy Spirit is a spirit that is vibrational resonance, again, just to explain it, of divine truth, of the light, of righteousness. The Holy Spirit has such a powerful way to it that no other spirits or demons or any of these things can trick you or affect you in your life anymore. They can't. You stop having to fight these battles in the way that you are every day. I know you're fighting these battles. It's constant. We're constantly in deceit. We're constantly deceiving ourselves. It manifests in all sorts of ways. We feel unwell, so we keep reaching for drugs as the solution. That is demonic spirit intervention, and you're just calling in more of these things. When you think that drugs are the answer to making you feel better, this is a very low vibration way of being. You got to understand, you got to see this, and you're inviting in spirits and energies that are totally ready to take over your life and play with you in that way and lead you even deeper into addiction, even deeper into deceit. Okay, we have all sorts of things like this playing out. The Holy Spirit will fill you, completely fill you, so that other spirits stop coming in. The Holy Spirit convicts you. The Holy Spirit convicts you to live a life of righteous truth and to not be deceived into things like thinking that a drug is going to make me feel better, or a relationship is going to give me fulfillment, or fame and money is going to satisfy me. The Holy Spirit is constantly convicting us that this is a deceit and not to fall into it. The Holy Spirit will guide you. The Holy Spirit's job is to lead us to God. That is the Holy Spirit's job, is to convict you and lead you to God. All of these other spirits, they don't convict you, they condemn you to a life of suffering. They condemn you to a life of sadness and emptiness, with brief moments of feeling like you got what you want, only to wake up a few days later and go, I feel empty again. I thought winning this award or getting this achievement was going to change everything for me, but it's like nothing changed, even though it technically did. Right? All these other spirits, they want to condemn you. And I don't know for certain, but I speculate, this is my speculation, not all these spirits are evil and trying to destroy your life. Some of them are loving spirits for sure. Most of the spirits that I was working with before I invited in the Holy Spirit, who absolutely convicted me to never open the door to anything that is not the Holy Spirit ever again. And ever since I did that, my life has been so much healthier and so many things have been working out. I'll share that in a later video of what's happened since, inviting in the Holy Spirit and being saved in this way. But it's interesting because I was mostly working with loving spirits but they were misguiding me even still. And here's a funny example I like to put. Have you ever had your mom or your dad give you advice or guidance on something, and they did it because they genuinely love you and care about you, right? If anybody wants what's best for you, it's mom and dad, let's be honest. But that doesn't mean that they always actually know what's best for you. They're doing the best they can. They do love you. They do want to see you succeed. But sometimes mom and dad don't know where true satisfaction comes from. Sometimes mom and dad do not know God themselves. Sometimes mom and dad have chosen to live their life in a certain way or use substances, and they find their answers in places. And so the guidance they give you is not really in your best interest, right? So here's my example. Not all spirits are bad that we invite in and work with us. Most of the ones I was working with, I know them, they're loving. They had my best interest at heart, but I told them to leave. I told them to never come back. Sometimes they come and knock on the door and I laugh and I say goodbye and they leave because they cannot come in without me giving them permission. And now that I see them for what they are, they're not allowed. Here's the truth. When you truly come to know God, when you die, you, who you are, you could say your spirit, will ascend out of this place. This is what the Bible refers to as the kingdom of heaven. I don't want to get too into that in this video either. Many other religions talk about this. We've got different spiritual practices talking about the same thing. You've got Buddhism talking about, when you realize enlightenment, you are no longer in the reincarnation process. Okay, so we have lots of different explanations as to what I'm talking about here. Here's my point. Spirits that are floating around in the world seeking humans who will let them in so that they can live through you, they didn't ascend. They did not live a life of righteous truth. They did not know God in their life. So they did not graduate out of this place. So why would you take the advice of somebody like why would you have somebody in fourth grade class, for example, coach you through fourth grade when they've failed fourth grade over and over and over again and they don't even know how to graduate themselves? If they did know how to graduate, they wouldn't be there. They wouldn't even be in the class to help you because they'd be gone. Okay, Holy Spirit you can count on and you can trust because God sent us the Holy Spirit to help guide us home, to help convict us of the truth. Because God is very sad, and I don't know God personally in the sense that I could tell you God's sad, but this is again my personal perspective on this. I think God is very sad to look at earth and to see all of the humans and all the people who are choosing to, instead of coming home, instead of coming to the truth, instead of being who we really came here to be, are choosing to make deals with the devil almost every single day of our lives. I think God's very sad about that, but God is giving us an opportunity to turn away from these spirits and say, no, I will not play the sin game any longer. I will not play the deceit game any longer. I am going to live my life truthfully. God sends us the Holy Spirit the moment you choose the truth over everything else. That is when the Holy Spirit arrives in your life, and it is unmistakable. If you want to hear more conversations about the Holy Spirit, about spirits in general, or any questions you have about this, definitely let me know below. I've got some more videos coming out, and it would be cool to hear what it is that you'd like to know more about or hear spoken about at the very least. So thank you so much for being part of this conversation. If you know somebody that would benefit from it, thank you for sharing it in their way. And, thank you guys. Much love. Special shout out to patrons for making all this free content possible on YouTube. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Much love, peace, and righteousness. And may the Holy Spirit bless you and be with you. See you soon.